The planet of Kogala is one of mystery, a planet that is known for its lush jungles and oases, and its swamp-filled waters. However, the only thing we really know about it is that the Nexu is its apex predator, a creature that marks everything with a smile. This feline creature is one of the most deadliest in Star Wars, one of the top 10 in the list of the top 10 deadliest creatures in canon. However, today we're going to throw it in the age of mammals, megafauna, super beasts. All right. And believe it or not, when deciding this, I did have a hard time on where I wanted to put it. I wanted to do North America like everybody else, Africa, Europe, okay? I thought about even Australia or even Antarctica, but that would likely kill it since it's not adapted to that kind of environment. So, that being said, here, I had to think about everything: prey, water, resources, environment suitability, quite obviously, everything that this animal needs, right? And I decided South America works. It's a jungle like creature, correct? It's a tree climber. It's basically a big cat itself. Except this creature lives on a planet that is very jungle like. And I thought, well, the Amazon rainforest, doesn't develop too much during those last few millions of years until modern day. So why not put it where it originally was? In South America. Pleistocene or Mesozoic South America, right? So let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of the Nexu. What are its strengths, its weaknesses? Well, believe it or not, it has four eyes, which is kind of obvious. However, two of those eyes actually allow it to see in infrared, meaning it could track prey by its heat signature. This accommodation with its acute smell, its voracious teeth, by the way, I mean, look at the mouth here. You getting bit by that should either be an instant death or anything bulky enough to tank or at least somewhat survive that is definitely bleeding out. It also has a whip-like tail and claws meant for climbing, even having a sickle claw for one of them. Now, this may mean it is stronger than a raptor's claw, which is made to just pierce and likely just rapidly pierce, apparently, by studies now. But again, I do think a Pearson slash is more like it for the Nexu. Now, its weakness is that, again, it's more feline-like build. It doesn't allow it to withstand powerful hits. Or at least not from the likes of the Reek, which are known to be the rhinos of Star Wars, which they actually live in herds, so I guess not too rhino-like, right? So these guys are known to be the rhinos of Star Wars, and yet one well-placed charge from an off-guarded Nexu was able to kill it. Or at least one off-guard charge from this Reek was able to kill an off-guard Nexu. So with that being said, yeah. However, the Nexu is capable of taking blaster fire, meaning that it's not entirely weak itself here. But without further ado, let's actually discuss prey items. What will this creature be hunting? What will it eat? What will be its likely most common prey item? And why not start off with the gazelle of the time period, the Macrokenia? Now, the Macrokenia was basically the relative of horses and likely camels, apparently by studies. And the Macrokera was a very fast herbivore, which to the point where Smilodons actually had to ambush it. And believe it or not, here, I do think the Nexu is definitely faster than the Smilodon because its claws should give it way more traction on even open ground here. But I do see the Smilodon, or sorry, the Nexu here, being able to ambush the Macrokera and kill it far easier than the Smilodon. Pretty much a lot of these prey items are going to get killed, a lot easier and be dragged away by the Nexu. Now, next one we do have is Homalotherium, a tapir, essentially, the giant tapir. Now, again, these creatures could have been a lot more aggressive and definitely bulky enough to take on the likes of Smilodons, Thylacophilus, and being preyed upon by, well, Purosaurus being the only creature that could likely one-shot it, right? So, with that being said, Homalotherium really doesn't have too many defenses. Maybe its claws could help it put up a good fight, and definitely its sense of smell. But I do doubt that is going to be enough for a Nexu. Next one up, we have Astropotherium, which again is just like its cousin, the Homalotherium. Now, this, believe it or not, is very interesting. It was definitely bigger than the Homalotherium and apparently had a temperament. But again, as most creatures do, or most herbivores do, they do have some form of temperament in some way. Now, the Astropotherium, excuse me, was also a water dweller, meaning that the Nexu could put itself in competition with the Purosaurus, and believe it or not, that would actually be a bad idea. However, any Astropotherium on land is definitely dead meat. Now, next one off, we do have a more difficult one, but that would be Dorydicarus. Now, Dorydicarus, believe it or not, is just an armored armadillo with no defense like its cousin, the Dorydicarus, which was basically the ankylosaur of the armored armadillos. Now, believe it or not here, I do think that these two would possess a challenge to the Nexu, at least initially. However, its agility, its longer claw, should be able to get at the limbs. If not, allow it to overpower and just flip over the Galiptodon and allow it to feast on its soft underbelly. So it would be able to get the job done regardless. If not, blitz, start slashing, and just end it right then and there. Or possibly even aim for its head, considering its jaw strength should be stronger than that of a Smilodon without the fragility of those saber-like teeth. Now, let's move on to prey items that would be more dangerous. And this is, well, something that I am going to have to count for the Nexu, at least in this one, because of its weakness. Now, I do believe we all should agree the Columbian mammoth is definitely a problem. Found in both North and South America, these behemoths were not to be messed with by no saber-tooths, by no bears at all. Not even, shoot, it's very possible they rarely interacted, is what I'm trying to say here, with Purosaurus enduring South America, right? And probably stick to more inland water areas that didn't have them than the more river-like areas. But if they had to cross them, they had to cross them, and they would probably get aimed at by Purosaurus. But Purosaurus would likely have to be careful because of the sheer size of these mammoths do somewhat come close to it. And with the Nexu's agility, I do see that the Nexu would definitely ambush these creatures at night, likely using its bite, its whip-like tail, and its claws to deal massive damage on it and then leave it, and then simply track it with its infrared vision or the blood trail that it's going to leave here. Because again, nobody's withstanding a full-blown bite from a Nexu and just living to tell the tale. And if they do, then you got a massive wound on you. Same with the Megatherium. Very powerful creature, could definitely kill a Nexu. However, with its environment, if it's not in an open plain, then I don't see it really having a chance against a Nexu, especially if it's in the forest. It's going to like Grim Reaper the mess out of it. Just pounce on it, slash at it, and definitely be able to, well, get the drop on it. And if that happens, then the Nexu could aim its much stronger jaws into the neck of the Megatherium or into a vulnerable area like its forearms or any area that allows it to cripple the prey and retreat for now. Which again, I do think the Nexu would do. Now, next one off we do have is Dorydicarus. Now, Dorydicarus is dangerous with its tail here, and that could honestly, would likely one-shot, if not flat-out cripple, a Nexu for life here. And I mean, you might say the Nexu could be more durable than the Sabertooth. They could be on par with it. Either way, the Dorydicarus is definitely causing a massive injury if that tail club hits. However, scientists believe that the Dorydicarus' speed was very slow with its swinging, which means that the Nexu has enough time to grab it, flip it over, and feast on it. If not, flat out crush its head with its jaws. Now, next thing we have is the Toxodon. Now, depending on how this creature lived, some people say it lived like a rhino, some people say it lived like a hippo. Now, if it lived like a hippo, which lived in massive herds and would somewhat wallow in water and come on land every now and then yeah, these guys are a problem because they were known to probably have the temperament of a hippo. And if they lived like rhinos, meaning that it would be probably in a few maybe interacting with each other every now and then, that means the Nexu just has to really aim for any lone member of the group here, but again, still having to be careful as the sheer power of this creature would be offsetting or very dangerous to the Nexu here. So, with that being said here, the Nexu seems like it's going to be mainly an ambush predator throughout the ages. However, how would that affect it with its competition? Now, believe it or not, I do think the Nexu would eat a lot of these creatures on top of it, meaning that the Nexu would not have a small range, if you will, of food sources, with any creature that is in South America likely being on the Nexu's menu. This would include the likes of Smilodon and the Thylacolesmilis. Now, the Thylacolesmilis is a marsupial, but let's talk about Smilodon real quick here. If Smilodon did live in prides here, because again, I hate the sheer fact that scientists can be contradictory to one another because someone wants to be right or someone wants a different opinion about everything. So, with that being said here, if Smilodon do live in groups, and let's go with the assumption that they did, right? Or at least lived in small family units. So if they do live in these type of groups here, then the Smilodon should be able to drive away the Nexu from kills. However, if the Nexu is able to get its prey and go up the tree, then there's really no problem with it here. There's also the sheer fact that the Nexu could become a very common predator of Smilodon, likely taking its chances, and the sheer fact that it has a much stronger bite and likely a much stronger build as well, considering it is a alien creature here. This means that Smilodon would not only be a competitor, but a possible prey item in case the Nexu does not get its kill. Now, next one off, we do have Thylacolesmilis. Now, this one is very interesting because we don't really have too much evidence, or if not any evidence, of Thylacolesmilis being a pack hunter. However, we do speculate that it was a tree climber because it was more of a marsupial than an actual saber tooth, which I found to be very interesting. Now, next one off we do have is Kalenkin. And before I really get into it, if the Thylacolesmilis is a tree climber, that would be the only competition that he and the Nexu or the species would actually have with each other. So, with that being said here, that would probably be the only competition, but again, still be prey. Next up, the Kalenkin, which is basically the giant terror bird. I think the biggest and likely the strongest of the terror birds as well. So the Kalenkin would again be another prey item. The Kalenkin doesn't really offer too much, except it could likely outgroup the Nexu and then just likely maybe bully it off its prey. But again, if it's more than one Nexu, because Nexus are known to somewhat pack hunt on their planet, or at least cooperative hunt here, then it's very likely the Nexus just maintain their dominance over any kill here. And believe it or not, they would likely turn and be, well, it's not believe it or not, it's pretty factual here, that the Nexu would definitely be able to outmaneuver, outskill, and then pretty much just take the entire head of a Kalenkin within its mouth. So, with that being said, the only competition it's not going to have is with Purosaurus. There is no competition there. Purosaurus outstats that creature, outstats its alien competitor with with astronomical proportions, okay? This is a creature that would probably go to the ocean to hunt and likely put up a fight against a megalodon. Speculation, but it is what it is here. The creature is massive. One of the biggest crocs to ever live alongside Deinosuchus. So yeah, the Nexu lives pretty well here. I mean, the species as a whole would thrive in the Pleistocene era of South America. Now, how would it adapt itself to become better or to at least improve itself here? Now, unlike most creatures, the Nexu is not perfect. And I actually like that about it. It's not a perfect predator. For example, creatures like the Thanator, which will get its own survival video in the future, are pretty much perfect predators. Bone-crushing jaws, likely venomous as well, and powerful forements to hold down prey that are in a similar size to mammoths. Dragons, extremely fast, extremely powerful, extremely intelligent, and fire breath. Then you have the Morwing, bioluminescent glow, again, strong, fast, intelligent, with a whip-like tail. And again, these creatures really didn't have flaws to themselves here. And the way they would pretty much go out is pretty much because of a much stronger force than what they've actually encountered. Meanwhile, the Nexu just needs to build up its bulk and durability, which is something it could do. It could build itself similar to a snow leopard in terms of its bulk here and in terms of its durability. Snow leopards themselves here can survive 400-foot drops off of mountains and then get up like they're okay and just go back to what they were just hunting. Or maybe they would have to find something else. You never know. So, with that being said here, the Nexu just needs to build up on its muscle mass, its muscle intensity, its bone durability. And believe it or not, I would definitely say this creature would probably be able to hunt mammoths successfully. Now, it's not taking on a group of mammoths. Let's be real here. However, it would definitely be able to snatch up smaller ones with quick efficiency and being able to take out adults with a lot of skill and finesse. Single and alone adults, by the way. And it would probably, again, use those jaws and claws, as long as with that tail as well, because it's known to be whip-like, to subdue and overcome its prey. Now, if there are any, short-faced bears and dire bears within the region, then, again, they're more so prey items than anything, albeit they would physically be the greatest competitors of the Nexu'S. So, with that being said here, how does the Nexu fare into modern day? Well, any evolved species of the Nexu would likely die out. Any Nexu that specializes in hunting down bigger, bulkier, more muscular, more nutrient-rich prey is likely going to die out when early humans start hunting down and pretty much wiping out mammoths themselves here. However, any regular Nexu that sticks to the more fast-moving and agile prey is going to succeed and outlive any competitor. You see, I don't see too many Nexus needing to evolve here. Now, again, they'll probably just stay away from, bigger, more muscular, and more powerful prey, and likely relying on their ambush tactics to get up ahead, while another species would likely evolve to be more accommodated, more bulky, more muscular, to likely wrestle down and take down this prey with, some need for ambush here. And considering the sheer fact that the Nexu is immune or somewhat resistant to blaster fire, this means it will go well into the modern age, even today, being a literal nightmare, if not being a flat-out cryptid altogether. Imagine a cryptid that doesn't want you to see it, but it sees you in infrared. Those claws, those teeth, there's no escape. There's definitely going to be some legends about this creature as well. Not sure how. It would definitely be called the rainforest butcher or something like that there. We would definitely find its fossils, its remains, and it's very possible that it would develop camouflage over the years. Something similar to a chameleon. And that would actually be terrifying. But that's going to be all today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share it to your friends. And be sure to stay till the end to find out what the next video is going to be about. Peace.